Hey everybody, Kai Deering here with PPLSI, legalshield and IDShield, independent associate out of Northern California. Been with the company almost 20 plus years. Oh my goodness, time flies when you're having fun. And I've been really enjoying doing episodes regularly that we started at the beginning of a couple of weeks leading up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Small Business Saturday. And so to share. We've covered a lot of ground. So if you haven't seen the first couple of episodes, the first 3 episodes, we go over 6 different areas of identity theft, kind of what it is. And then we go over some, who's doing it and some prevention tips and things like that. So today we are moving right along. And so if you haven't seen the other episodes, these are all standalones as well. And we have an ability for you to be able to chat with us and comment, and I can see your comments, bring them on screen. So I'm excited to continue our conversation about identity theft, the world's fastest growing crime. And today we're going to talk about who's doing it and why they're doing it. And I'm going to start off on the lower right hand corner with why they're doing it. One is they catch less than 1 in like 700. So the risk of being caught is super low. Hello, Jared. Jared. Nice to see you, my friend. So the risk is really, really low of them being able to get caught. Unlike, imagine if I did an armed robbery where there was victims and cameras and all kinds of things. That's why more often than not, those crimes are solved. Here, right, they're either behind a computer screen and all kinds of things. And so understand that the challenge is it's very difficult to catch these. So there's really, really, really low risk. There's large gains. If I break into somebody's home, I can only, grab what I can carry out, which may or may not be the television set. I don't know that they want that anymore, right? They want your information. And so it's a great gain. You can do a lot with people's personal information. As I already alluded, it's a no victim, quote unquote, contact crime. So you may not have anybody like fighting you back, right? You won't have anybody, screaming or anything like that. So it's a really, they call it a no victim contact. So, and the problem is because of that, it's considered a property crime. Why is that important? Well, it's considered a lot of times a misdemeanor. It's got really light sentencing with it. And so you might as well, perpetrate this, crime because nobody really seems to care much. So this is why in law enforcement, there's not a lot they can do with it as well. So it's a real challenge. So who's doing it is the next thing we're going to talk about. And again, I can see your comments. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. But who's doing it? Well, your traditional, drug addict who would normally break into a home and, just do a smash and grab out of a car has a lot more opportunity to maybe change somebody's address on the post office and order a bunch of things on their credit card, but sent to their house. So that's an easy thing to do. Then they could have all kinds of things to fence and whatnot. And organized crime is behind a lot of it, as you've seen, right? There's they talk a lot about, the Russian mafia being a part of this, and it's a business. So give you an example, especially when it comes to hacking into companies and getting their information. I was on a cybersecurity event like a month and a half ago. And they were talking about how, this one large security company was cyber attacked, and they got in there, got all their information. And at the end of it, they explained exactly who they were after they did the ransomware and they were paid. Said, yeah, we're a Russian crime ring and we get paid on how much money we're able to collect. Wow, that's a shocker and an eye opener. So it's a organized crime is involved, and it's an actual business, right? With business names and all kinds of things. So the challenge is, how does that work for law enforcement? Now you're talking about international crime. It's very difficult to bring to justice. So again, that's why it's the large risk. Large gains. The other thing is a lot of street gangs are participating in it. So if you think about it, I'm in organized crime. I'm going to find some street gangs and thugs to go, break into cars, and they can keep the stereo, the sunglasses, anything in there. What they would want what's in the glove box. So what's in your glove box right now? Think about what's in there. Might it be, your insurance information, your address? There's all kinds of things in your glove box that could put you at risk, or smash and grabs there was just one recently at an auto dealership where a street thug just came in there grabbed all the paperwork on the top of the finance person's desk and ran out the front door. So there's a lot of opportunistic people that are able to do that. Career criminals, if you think about the movie that was Catch Me If You Can, that was a career criminal, and that is Frank Abagnale, and he's been featured in a lot of different classes and things that I've been a part of. And he says, let me just tell me your first name. This is at the beginning of one of his webinars. Said, let me just tell me your first name, and I see you tomorrow. The next day they saw him, he knew his social, birthday, mother's maiden names, all this stuff, because you can get it right there online. And if I'm a career criminal, it'd be a lot more successful committing this crime, identity theft, than it would be to do a lot of other things. So you see a lot of career criminals. And then, this is taught with the terrorists. In fact, some light reading, if you get a chance to read the 9/11 Commission reports, they talk about how, terrorists were able to move freely throughout the country, enroll in flight schools, rent apartments in other people's names. And so, and that's a real challenge. In fact, my Facebook got hacked by a terrorist, and they absconded with, I don't know, $10,000, $11,000 worth of money. Luckily, it was not my ATM. It was my credit card, and the credit card company did the right thing and 100%, returned the information. I was so appreciative of that. You have no idea. I'm sure you do, though. So I think that I made a pretty good case for what is identity theft, some of the facts surrounding identity theft, how we are data-based and our information is literally everywhere, and all the big national breaches that have happened. And then we've made a pretty good case for why, criminals, whether they're drug addicts, organized crime, street gangs, career criminals, or terrorists, would like to perpetrate this with the large gains, low risk, no victim, contact, as well as light sentencing. So those are the reasons why. So what are we going to talk about tomorrow? Well, tomorrow I'm excited to share with you. Now we're going to start transitioning into how do the thieves get your information, and then what are some prevention tips. So that'll be an incredible discussion. Then we'll talk about what were some of the industry responses to this crime when it really started to be prevalent in the late, early 2000s. And then we're going to share with you some information. What is the best answer? We're also going to talk about how it affects businesses, because again, cyber attacks and crimes are up 300%. And then lastly, we're going to go over some best practices for companies as well. So with that, it was my honor to share with you today kind of who's doing it and why they're doing it. And I look forward to transitioning into some of the prevention tips moving forward. So with that, take care, take charge. We'll see you live tomorrow. Bye-bye.